Hello, and welcome to Management Theories BSN 2518. This is Dr. Maggie Vivoda. Today I decided that since this is the first week of our course, that perhaps it would be a good idea to discuss management in general. So that's what I would like to do in the following PowerPoint presentation. So you can get a good overview of management overall. So what is management? Management is defined as the planning, organizing, leading, and controlling of human and other resources to achieve organizational goals efficiently and effectively. One of the most important goals that organizations and their members try to achieve is to provide some kind of good or service that customers value or desire. The principal goal, for example, of Steve Jobs was to manage Apple. So it created a continuous stream of new and improved goods and services, such as more powerful PCs, more versatile iPods and iPhones, and the ability to download diverse kinds of digital content from the internet that customers were willing to buy. In 2010, Apple led the field in many of these areas. Its managers were currently looking for ways to make the new iPad the industry leader. Similarly, the principal goals of doctors, nurses, and hospital administrators is to increase their hospital's ability to make sick people well and to do so cost effectively. Likewise, the principal goal of each McDonald's restaurant manager is to produce burgers, salads, fries, and shakes that people want to pay for and eat so they become loyal return customers. Now, when you talk about organizational performance, that is basically a measure of how efficiently or effectively managers use available resources to satisfy customers and achieve organizational goals. So, as two classifications of organizational performance, you would be looking at efficiency and effectiveness. I'm going to define each of those terms for you before we move on to the next slide. Efficiency is a measure of how productively resources are used to achieve a goal. I can give you an example for McDonald's. McDonald's developed ever more efficient fat fryers that not only reduced the amount of oil used in cooking, but sped up the cooking of French fries. Now, when you're talking about effectiveness, it is a measure of the appropriateness of the goals that managers have selected for the organization to pursue and the degree to which the organization achieves those goals. So let's go back to McDonald's. This is a company everybody pretty much knows. Managers at one time decided on the goal of providing breakfast service to attract more customers. The choice of this goal proved to be very smart. Sales of breakfast food now account for more than 30% of McDonald's revenues and are still increasing. So next, the question is, what are organizations? Organizations are collections of people who work together and coordinate their actions to achieve a wider variety of goals or desired outcomes. Organizations could include American Heart Association, American Lung Association, Apple, Microsoft, McDonald's, the list goes on and on and on. Organizations often come up with strategies. Strategies are just a cluster of decisions concerning what organizational goals to pursue, what actions to take, and how to use resources to achieve those goals. Now the question is, why should you even bother to learn about management? I mean, why is learning about management so important? Well, keep in mind that resources are very scarce in society. I think we all know that. We also encounter managers at some point in our lives. All of us have worked for managers. All of us have had bosses. Sometimes we are the management. And third, people are in competition for a very important resource, a job. And in the recent years, when we have suffered through an economic downturn, I think more of us realize the importance of having that resource, a job, because at one point they were very scarce. So let me just review why you should even attempt to understand management. First, in any society or culture, resources are valuable and scarce, so the more efficient and effective use that organizations can make of those resources, the greater the relative well-being and prosperity of the people in that society. Because managers decide how to use many of society's most valuable resources, its skilled employees, raw materials like oil and land, computers and information systems, and financial assets, they directly impact the well-being of a society and the people in it. Understanding what managers do and how they will do it is of central importance to understanding how a society creates wealth and affluence of its citizens. Secondly, although most people are not managers, and many never intend to become managers, all of us have jobs and all of us have bosses for the most part. Moreover, many people today work in groups and teams that have to deal with coworkers. Studying management helps people deal with bosses and their coworkers. It reveals how to understand other people at work, which is not always easy, and make decisions and take actions that win the attention and support of the boss and coworkers. Management teaches people not yet in positions of authority how to lead coworkers, solve conflicts between them, achieve goals, and thus increase performance. Third, in any society, people are in competition for jobs that pay well, that provide satisfaction, that are interesting. So understanding management is one important path towards obtaining this objective. In general, jobs become more interesting the more complex or responsible they are. Any person who desires a motivating job that changes over time must therefore do well to develop management skills and become promotable. A person who has been working for several years and then, for example, returns to school for an MBA can usually, after earning the degree, find a more interesting, satisfying job that pays significantly more than their previous job. Moreover, salaries increase rapidly as people move up the organizational hierarchy, whether it is in a school system, a large for-profit business organization, or a not-for-profit charitable or medical institution. So what are essential managerial tasks? Well, there actually are 4. Number 1, planning. 2, organizing. 3, leading. And 4, controlling. I'm going to talk first about planning. To perform a planning task, managers identify and select appropriate organizational goals and courses of action. They develop strategies for how to achieve high performance. There are 3 steps in planning. 1 is to decide which goals the organization actually wants to pursue. 2, deciding what strategies to adopt to attain those goals. And 3, deciding how to allocate organizational resources to pursue the strategies that attain those goals. Next, organizing. Organizing is basically structuring working relationships so organizational members interact and cooperate to achieve organizational goals. Organizing people into departments according to the kinds of job-specific tasks they perform lays out the lines of authority and responsibility between different individuals and groups. Managers must decide how to best organize resources, particularly human resources. Now, in leading, which is our 3rd essential managerial task, managers articulate a clear organizational vision for the organization's members to accomplish, and they energize and enable employees so everyone understands the part he or she plays in achieving those organizational goals. Who are some well-known leaders? Well, at one point, I would say Michael Dell is one that comes to mind. There are many organizational leaders that are very, very good at their jobs for different reasons. Not always related to personality, but according to leadership ability. One particular individual, Herb Kelleher, was the CEO of Southwest Airlines. Excellent leader. Different leadership styles exist, but in the end, if productivity is increased and organizational vision is met, and goals are met, objectives are met, then that is a sign of a good leader. Controlling, the fourth essential managerial task. In controlling, the task of managers is to evaluate how well an organization has achieved its goals and to take any corrective actions needed to maintain or improve performance. For example, managers monitor the performance of individuals, departments, and the organization as a whole to decide whether or not they're actually meeting desired performance standards. And in our last slide, and I think I mentioned this before, what is a strategy? And this really falls under, of those managerial tasks, I would say planning. According to Jones and George, strategy is a cluster of decisions about what goals to pursue, what actions to take, and how to use resources to achieve goals. And as I just have to reiterate this again, when it comes to resources, your best resource are your people, your organizational members. Well, I certainly hope you did enjoy this PowerPoint presentation. I know I definitely enjoyed making it. Please keep in mind that this PowerPoint presentation is meant to serve as an enhancement to your textbook. Please be sure to read your chapters and watch the PowerPoints to basically augment your readings. Thank you so much. Have a great day.